Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA112 on this Monday, July 13th. We, the people, have allowed the system to allow people to have the system raise their child. We, the people, the tax-paying people of this nation, the voting people of this nation and your nation out there, listen to understand, we the people have allowed the systems, okay, so globally here, the systems to put a system in place to allow this system to raise the people's children. It's going to sink in right about now. A good friend, Tony, sent me this video. It's about an American Italian, right? And the video is from Cindy, if you can see it here. Sorry, it's probably blurry. But anyway, so this gentleman here speaks about the Christopher Columbus statue that was knocked down. And he has some choice words for the individuals that he's speaking of. But Cindy Giallarmini, she posted this video, if you pull it up. And what's interesting about this, and he's talking about the individuals that knocked down the statues, and it's not about Christopher Columbus. And listen to the video, and it's about what is attached to the Christopher Columbus statue of individuals that came to America to build America, correct? And when I say America, I'm talking like all Americas. I'm talking about all nations. I'm talking take out the word America, take out the word Canada, take out the word North America and Central America, Europe, take all those words out. Just talk it land. Let's talk about land here. And let's talk about people that came and produced and developed and created what we have today. Infrastructures that enable us to live longer, okay, healthier. The number one killer on earth is water. Like people die from water all the time, right? From all the diseases and et cetera to the water. But we in developed nations have a system in place that allows us to drink water. And I've talked about this on previous EFAs. We have access to water if we needed water, right? If you wanted to go to a public fountain and fill your drugs, go ahead, right? They're out there. So my point is to all that is we live in a system, right? And that same system that system was created by the people. The people that came to these countries, that's what the system was created by. And that's what he's talking about in this video. And he's talking about knocking down the Christopher Columbus statue, or you're also knocking down every Italian that came to America to build America. And that's what he's talking about. They came and they built and they created for them and their families and their loved ones and then those little cities and those individuals, just like the Irish and just like all of them, the Italians and all that. You want to talk about being marginalized, right? Remember I talked about the dyslexics, right? On the dyslexic, 20% of the world population about being marginalized. Well, how about the Italians? How about the Irish? I don't want to name 4, 5, 6 because there's probably tons of them out there that really, depending on where they are in the world, where they landed in the world, right? Africans sold Africans, right? If you think about that, you go back in history, Africans sold Africans. Right, and you want to talk about marginalized? They marginalize their own people, marginalize their own people, right? Across this nation, across this world, across this planet, across this globe, humanity has done that, right? Why? Because a system of people, or a system of governments, or a system of governance has allowed that. This was sent to me today. And I'm going to start tagging individuals that spark my the fluidity. I'm just going to call it fluidity. People say, it's just fluidity. It is what it is, right? And that fluidity and the key words that people say to me. My partner told me some keywords the other day, and I want to do another podcast on that resounded with me. Right, and sometimes a lot of these things, and what's interesting on today, I wanted to talk about family. I want to talk about family further to my family dinner that I moved to a restaurant yesterday, and the boardroom. And I told you since March 12th, 11th, around that time frame, I basically try to make a law in my family. Right, if I have rules and regulations, make a law that we have dinner together, sit down dinner, conference room type dinner at a conference table. the family conference table. And this is where we learn from each other. This is where we learn to grow old together. Sorry for listening. This is where we learn to grow old together and grow to understand each other as we change through age, right? And I learned from them. And we talked about this on previous EFAs. So making that law. And the Christopher Columbus conversation I just had with you, and it's interesting when, like, I was talking about family. I tell my wife I'm going to talk about these things, and I was going to talk about family tonight. And then, and late last night, was it like almost 20 to midnight, to 23:30 to 7 hours, I got the video, right? And today I got this one, and I like because I know you're listening, and I know we think the same way, and the grassroots, and it's like I'm like the messenger. I love to put the tapestry together and connect the connectivities of it. And it's interesting how this one here, I was going to talk about family today, and I got these two things, and this is what I love about this one also. Don't feed your child the same lies you ate. Unlock his brain. Let me get into this in a moment from now. His, right? Just there's no her, there's no they. So unlock his brain so he never repeats the lies of yesterday. Instill right knowledge. Okay, so let me repeat this one, right? So don't feed your child the same lies you ate, right? We have eaten a lot of lies. And you know how I touch on sugars, and I touch on processed foods, and I touch on how I lost 100 pounds just by eating naturally, literally. And how and the reason why it's successful, the lifestyle that I live, is because I remove the processed food and the sugars, which is the addiction. I remove the addiction, right? So there's a lie out there, and they feed it with a lot of stuff so that it keeps you coming back, right? And that's why you can't break it. You can't break the addiction. So don't feed your child the same lies you ate. Now, I'm going to have to edit this. Unlock his or her or their brains so he, she, or they never repeats the lies of yesterday. Instill right knowledge. Why is that important? We have allowed the system to create a system to let the system raise their children, hence where we are today. And this is a result. This is a result of yesterday's decisions. This is what this is. You're building burners and your car flippers and the people that want a full salary to protest all day, right? And there's individuals out there, they basically want a full salary, so they go protest the world all day. And that gentleman, when he's talking about the Italians that came to America, or like I said, or the Irish, or there's a lot of cultures, the Portuguese, like there's so many cultures out there that I can start naming, and I don't want to offend anyone, so don't be offended. I just don't want to name them all, because there's a lot of great nation that came to nations, other nations, and built their countries and helped them build their countries, their prosperity to a developed nation that we are today, right? So that's what that gentleman's talking about. And he talks about these individuals. They were marginalized, they were crushed, they were beaten, they were spit on, they were done everything. And they still built, and they still went to war, and they still gave back to their country to make it what it is today. And that's what he's talking about. And then when you tie it into what that picture just says, by allowing the system allowed mothers, and I don't want to offend anybody here because you were part of the system, but a system allowed, there was a time in life, up until a certain time, but previous to that time, let's call it the 70s, or let's call it the 80s, 70s. I'm going to say 70s, the same time as the processed food world, late 60s. Let's go to the 60s here. Let's start with the 60s. You want to get greasy? Let's get a greasy answer, right? Let's start in the 60s. After the 60s, and all these systems started coming in with processed food and all that. If you look back, right? I'm going to go 20/20 hindsight here. And all these systems started getting developed. And a lot of these systems build systems. For example, there used to be a time where if you had children, you better afford those children because they weren't eating, right? There was no system to take care of those children. So for thousands of years or millions of years, whatever you believe in time-wise, there was no system to take care of those children, right? And allowing women to have multiple children with multiple different men, or no parents, I don't know, because there's a lot of children on this earth now that have no parents, that have no foundation, that have no structure. They have nothing to stand on and grow on, okay? Nothing, nada but a system. Let's go back to the system here. You've allowed that system for these women to have multiple children, multiple men, and have no intention of raising a child. They're, I call them Facebook. There's a lot of Facebook fathers out there, Facebook mothers, social media parents, right? They're very good. Like, look what I did today and look what I'm doing tomorrow. Raising a child, having the sit down dinners with a child, having the debates with a child, having the arguments, having your struggles, having your gray hairs, having your laughter, and having your memories, and having your love hugs and everything that comes with it, right? A lifetime every single day of it. Every day. And the system that was created, those children did not have that. Those children, when I do the fajita wraps with my daughters at night, right? And when I tell them stories, or they can write books on the characters that I have created for my daughters. Literally, I have so many characters that come out of it, and I mean, the stuff. They can write books. But that there were all lessons. All these stuff that I did growing up with them, where there was a lesson involved. There was a lesson in something. And a lot of them was just fun, a fun thing. And I mean, some valuable lessons as young women to grow, right? And our responsibility to teach, my wife and I, to teach our daughters. So that is what our nation's lost. But a system was put in place to allow that. A system now that it's going to get worse. It's that fabric is like, there's people out there that truly believe that everybody should be taking care of them. Like, literally, there's people out there now, the whole mindset of a new world, everything offends them unless it comes out of their mouth. Everything else offends them unless they're allowed to say it, right? And those same individuals want a system to take care of their systems. They want their own system. It's a great idea when using other people's money. They want their own system to be paid for by this system, right? I want my hardware store to be ran under the budget of this hardware store. So you know what I'm getting at, right? And that's what they want. And that whole system needs to be stopped. It needs to be stopped. We need to go back to the foundation of the fabric of our nations. We need to you want to have children? You're going to raise your children. They're going to sit at your breakfast table. They're going to sit at your dining room table at night. You're going to be part of their school program. You're going to be part of their homework. You're going to be part of everything in their life. And make that law. You want to put rules and regulation? Make that law. Could you imagine a nation we would have if people actually raised their children from day one and were involved in their life all the way through? And I know there's divorces and all these, that's life, okay? I'm not talking about the minorities of that. I'm talking about the majority. If you take the commonality, the majority of our nation and have a strong fabric that actually raised their children, if you look at the cultures that have built these nations, go deep. You want to go deep into the rabbit hole? Look at the cultures that built these nations. I'll guarantee you, most of them still have structures of sitting down together, conversing, like just getting together, just picking up a phone and conversing all the time. They are the same individuals that crossed these oceans, that risked their lives and landed in swamps and forests and nothing in between and started building. They started building what is being destroyed today by those that want the system to take care of their system. Jean-Guy Bourguignon, equality for all.